Did Jungkook and Taehyung really reconcile after that heartbreaking apology and jealousy moment with RM? What exactly happened that left ARMY in tears? Read on, share your thoughts, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more updates on this emotional twist in BTS's journey. Could it truly be happening? After Jungkook's emotional apology to Taehyung, following that unforgettable moment when jealousy surfaced after RM embraced the youngest member with such intensity, the whispers inside the fandom have taken a shocking turn. Could the story of Jungkook and Taehyung, the bond that has been tested, fractured, and healed countless times, be entering yet another chapter, one filled with reconciliation, vulnerability, and raw emotion that left millions of ARMYs worldwide stunned and even in tears? Fans who have followed every detail, every subtle glance, every hidden message between the two, are now asking the question no one expected to ask so soon. Are Jungkook and Taehyung truly back together in a way that goes beyond friendship, beyond misunderstandings, and straight into the kind of heartfelt connection that only the most loyal ARMY could fully comprehend? The journey began not with smiles and warmth, but with tension and shadows. When Taehyung openly expressed his feelings of jealousy over Jungkook and RM's closeness, the fandom was shaken. It wasn't just a simple confession. It was a revelation that cracked open the carefully maintained walls around BTS's brotherhood. Taehyung's words were filled with longing and vulnerability, the kind that ARMY had not often seen him reveal in such an unguarded way. And then came Jungkook's apology, sincere, trembling, heavy with the weight of regret and love. His voice carried the kind of pain that only comes when one realizes they've hurt someone irreplaceable, someone who has stood beside them in stages, in struggles, and in dreams. But what happened after? That is where the shock begins. Rumors spiraled, whispers grew louder, and fans started piecing together fragments from fan meetings, airport glimpses, and subtle interactions during live broadcasts. Could those fleeting smiles, those barely audible words caught on microphones, really mean what ARMY dared to hope? Was this the moment when wounds were finally healed? When hearts that had been bruised by jealousy and distance finally found a way to beat in sync again? The evidence is emotional, not factual. It lives in the way Taehyung's gaze lingered longer than expected, the way Jungkook's laughter carried a softness that had been missing for months, the way their silence together spoke louder than the roar of thousands of fans chanting their names. This is not just about idols and their public personas. This is about two souls navigating the storm of fame, friendship, and feelings too complex for words. For ARMY, watching Jungkook and Taehyung's story unfold has always been more than just entertainment. It's a mirror reflecting love, loss, forgiveness, and the fragile threads that tie human hearts together. And when Jungkook extended his apology, Taehyung's response was not dramatic but quietly powerful. He didn't turn away. He didn't let anger reign. Instead, he allowed himself to be vulnerable too, and in that moment, ARMY saw what they had been longing for. The possibility of reconciliation, the comeback of their bond, if one dares to call it that, was not announced on a stage or in a press release. It was whispered in small gestures, captured in fleeting moments, hidden in lyrics that suddenly sounded like confessions, and in glances that felt like promises. ARMY, always alert, always decoding, could not hold back their tears as they pieced it together. Was this their imagination? Or was BTS showing the world something much deeper than any fan service narrative could ever create? The shock lies not in the confirmation but in the possibility itself, because the mere thought that Jungkook and Taehyung found their way back to each other after all the cracks and tension was enough to send waves of emotion across the globe. Why does this matter so much? Because BTS has always been about more than music. Their relationships, raw, real, messy, beautiful, are part of what keeps ARMY connected to them at a soul-deep level. When one member hurts, the fandom feels it. When one finds healing, ARMY breathes easier. And when two, like Jungkook and Taehyung, seem to bridge the gap that once threatened to separate them, it becomes a collective experience of joy and release. The tears ARMY shed were not just for the two of them, but for every fan who has ever fought for reconciliation, who has ever hoped for forgiveness, who has ever longed for a bond to be restored after jealousy, pride, or misunderstanding pulled it apart. And now the burning question remains, what happens next? Will Jungkook and Taehyung openly acknowledge this newfound peace? Or will it remain in the sacred space of unspoken gestures and private healing? Will ARMY ever get the full story? Or will they forever hold on to the fragments of clues, piecing them together into the narrative that their hearts crave? The suspense is part of the magic, the emotional turbulence part of the journey. One thing is certain, this moment, this reconciliation, this possibility of Jungkook and Taehyung finding their way back to each other, will never be forgotten in the history of BTS and ARMY. So dear ARMY, what do you think? Was this truly the moment when everything changed? Did Jungkook and Taehyung finally heal what was broken, leaving jealousy behind and embracing something deeper than words can express? Share your thoughts, let your emotions flow in the comments, and don't forget to like this story if your heart raced while reading it, and subscribe for more updates as we follow this emotional roller coaster that only BTS can bring into our lives. Because sometimes, the most powerful love stories are not written in novels or scripted on screens. They unfold in real life, in whispers, in apologies, in tears, and in the kind of reconciliation that makes the whole world pause and cry with you.